Hello there, Jared. Poland here. I'm here. Baseball season, new hat. No, not new hat. I don't wear hats very often, but this one's pretty old. So, email came in from Grant in the United Kingdom. He is looking to make the jump from a point and shoot to a digital SLR, but he is getting very confused with all of the information out there, all the different choices, doesn't know what to do pretty much, and he's really asking for advice. Now, this is a question that comes in quite often that, I helped a lot with when I would sell at a camera store. You get people coming in that, they have had point shoots, they're not happy with what it's giving them, and they know they should move into a digital SLR, but they're afraid. They don't understand, the settings or how it works, or they think it's going to be hard to change lenses and it's too big to carry around. Now, if you're in the market for a camera and you think it's too big to carry around, you definitely shouldn't get a digital SLR. But if you know that there's limitations to point and shoots and you're ready to make the move to a digital SLR, well, then you're willing to carry it around, have the extra lenses. But it comes down to doing it right to the best of your ability. I think a digital SLR is much easier to use than a point and shoot. The options are much easier, even if you just stay in auto, which I don't always recommend, but to start, it's not a bad thing to do. The digital SLR is going to be easier. Now, the price is, more expensive, but the way that I look at it is if you're going to get a really good point and shoot, you're going to spend $350, $400. You're basically into a digital SLR at that point, and keep in mind, when that camera breaks or is done with in a couple years, you're left with nothing. It's like leasing a car. You turn it in, you're left with nothing. But when you buy a digital SLR, you can take the accessories and lenses with you from camera body to camera body. So that's the important thing right there. So what I look at when it comes to helping make a decision on buying a digital SLR is, one, are you not happy with the point and shoots? Two, what are you going to be shooting? And obviously, how much do you have to spend? What is your budget? Because that determines what you can get. Now, Grant was thinking, should he spend the $750-ish to get a start with a low-end Canon or a low-end Nikon? Or should he spend more on one of the higher-end bodies, like a D5, not higher-end, but medium road, D5000, spend maybe $1,200 on a D90 or something along those ranges. Now, what I say is, at the beginning, or what I say with pretty much everything, is it's all about the glass. It's all about the lenses. Put the money into the lenses and you will be more happy with your images regardless of the camera that you have. So, as a recommendation, let's just go with a D3000. It's a Nikon basic camera, replaced the D40, which was a very popular, very easy to use camera. So, I've done some research today. What's today? April 9th, 2010. And I found that you can get a D3000 body-only refurb, which isn't bad because it's, refurbished from Nikon for, what's that, $299. So for $300, you can have a digital SLR body. It's refurbished. They usually have a pretty good warranty on them. With digital equipment, with cameras and things like that, I've bought refurb from Apple. Anything that's refurbed from the factory, I'm happy with. I'm okay with purchasing that. Or if you wanted to get the 18-55, which is the basic lens that comes with it, you can spend $370, $499. Now, off the bat, the best suggestion is get the body and let's piece together a nice little outfit for under $1,000 or right around $1,000 to get you started. I mean, maybe even for a little less. So, my recommendation here is you get something, a low-end body, whether it's the Canon or the Nikon, and spend a little bit on the glass. I always push, the best glass, go with the Nikon, the best that you can get, save up, get that. But in the beginning, let's look at the 18-55 that you would be getting. It's a, 3.5 to 4.5? And for those of you who don't understand what that means, that's the aperture. That's the amount of light that you're letting in. At 18, it's 3.5, and at 55, it's 4.5. That's called a variable aperture lens. That means the aperture is changing as you zoom. So you have to you're losing light as you zoom out, because the shutter has to stay open longer, because the aperture goes from wider, which is a larger opening, to smaller, which is a smaller opening, meaning it's letting in less light. So what can we do? What can we get that will replace that lens? See, that lens is about $99 in the kit. It's an okay lens for broad daylight shooting and just everyday use. But let's look at that. Let's get back to that. I always say buy the best of the best glass, the Nikon or the Canon. Well, there's Sigma out there, and Sigma makes some very good glass. And to get started, they make an 18-50 2.8. Okay? There's no other number like 2.8 to 4 or 2.8 to 4.5, which would be variable aperture. This lens is at 18 millimeters, it's 2.8. At 50 millimeters, it's 2.8. So as you zoom out, you're not losing any light. You're going to get better quality shots when you zoom out. Also, you won't have to bump your ISO as high, because you're letting in you're basically two more stops of light than you would at 4.5. One to two stops, but that's great. That just means you can keep your your ISO lower and get a better keep your aperture lower and get a better keep your ISO lower and get a better shot. That's important in most situations. So the faster the aperture of the lens, it's going to be more expensive. But that Sigma lens 18-55 is $420 at B&H right now. That is where I would put my money. I mean, you would start off with that, the D3000 and the 18-55. Now, they make that lens for Canon. I'm not sure who else they make it for, but they make it for both systems. So either one that you go with, you can get that lens. Now, I definitely recommend that off the bat, because when you start shooting with better apertures, you're gonna see better results earlier, and you're not going to be discouraged, and then have to spend more money in the long run, replacing a crappy lens with something that you could have gotten up front. Now, $300 and $420, we're a little over, we're at $720. Then you need, you can get a memory card, a 4 gig memory card, one of the SanDisk Extreme, one of the newer ones. That's faster than the basic blue one is, I wrote this down, $16.95. So $17, you get a 4 gig card. I'd suggest 2 of those. Get an extra battery, which is another $39. $39? Yep, $40 for an extra battery. That's for if you're going away to have an extra battery just in case you run out. So you're going to get a ton of shots shooting RAW. Not a ton, but you're going to get a good amount of shots with a 4 gig card. But that's a basic way to start. There's other recommendations for lenses. Nikon makes a 35-1.8. That's $200. That's basically like a 50 millimeter lens on a full frame camera. So basically, when you hold the camera up and you go like this, what you see is pretty much what you're gonna get when you move your eye away from it and look through the camera. It's a great learning lens because it forces you to move your feet. You're not worrying about zooming. You're using your feet, your body, to zoom, because you become the zoom mechanism. Plus, you have a faster aperture. Again, you can shoot in lower light, get better depth of field. And depth of field is when you see pictures where you blow out the background, meaning the subject is nice and sharp and the background is out of focus, that is your depth of field. You're able to blow the background out with a wider aperture lens like a 2.8 or a 1.8. The recommendation is stay away from those basic kit lenses. Spend a little bit more money up front on the better glass, and you'll be much happier. You see many times people get the basic kit lenses and then say a 55-200 that Nikon and Canon offers, and they're just not happy with the results. They're trying to shoot indoors, or their kids playing sports, and they're just like going, this isn't working, this camera stinks, I'm discouraged, I don't want to shoot anymore. So, that's one reason to get the better glass up front. And if you have that budget of $800 to $1,000, you can start with that basic beginner camera to get you into the digital SLR range, which is great. You want to get started that way. You've made that jump, so that's good. And then to get a better lens off the bat, you're spending a little bit more money, but it's something that you'll have for 4 years, 4 to 5, 3 3 to 5 years before you even replace it as you start growing. Keep in mind that bodies are changing every 18 to 24 months. They're getting rid of them. But lenses you keep from body to body to body. So, that's important right there. The more, you recognize that the glass is more important, the better off you're going to be. So I hope this helps. I'm over 10 minutes again. I want to keep these to 4 to 5 minutes, but I'm putting in here good information, for everybody to go with. So there you go. That, Grant, the recommendation is go with a basic camera to start, but look into those other lenses. I hope this helps. Any questions that any of you have, feel free to let me know. Jared at jaredpoland.com.